as we're discussing the Flyers' late game last night in San Jose as they get the overtime victory over the Sharks. Look, heading into this game, we all know that the Flyers, their struggles on the West Coast. This has been something that we have been noted over the past couple seasons. And this was a game where, yeah, the Sharks definitely looked better than the Flyers for most of it, but the Flyers stayed resilient. And maybe the groundworks that Tortorella is putting together, obviously they are starting to get some players back here. We'll talk about some further injury news in just a bit, but maybe, just maybe, the confidence is starting to brew here with the Flyers. This is honestly a game where, like, you look at last year, the year prior, the Flyers would have absolutely lost a game like that in overtime. But the fact that they stayed resilient, stayed strong without Carter Hart, they had Samuel Errson back in this game again. And Erson saw less than 30 shots in this game, and you saw the difference that was. It gave the Flyers a chance to be in this game and to come back and get the dub. And obviously, we'll talk about overtime as well. But sticking with it, they held most of the possession in overtime as well, and they caught the Sharks off guard. Anytime you can come back on the road, that's definitely a confidence boosting type of win. And, this is a road trip where, look, Saturday is going to be a daunting test as you have to go down to Los Angeles, and that's a good team over there in LA. And, we lost to the Coyotes earlier in the year. So we'll see Coyotes would be a home game. But the road trip ends on Saturday. We hope that the Flyers continue this run. Even the comeback against the Hurricanes in the last game was pretty solid as well on Sunday. And then they come back in this one. It seems like this team, their mantra is they fight, they play till the end. And in this game, well, they played a little bit extra as well. But I want to formally welcome everyone real quick to Flyers Game Recap. I'm your boy, El Parcero Philly, the united of all things sports and culture here in our beautiful city of Philadelphia. We're discussing the 4-3 overtime victory for the Flyers late last night. If you happen to enjoy this video, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe for all your further Philly sports goodies. Yeah, I'm calling it goodies, guys. I'm definitely calling it goodies. But heading into this game, one thing we did know, look, the Sharks are clearly in somewhat of a rebuild. They have one win less than us. They have, obviously you have Erik Karlsson. You have Thomas Hertl, who is a beast as well. But they're trying to add on to it. They have some young talent here that did catch my eye as well. But this Sharks team, led by Dan Quinn, they are, lack of better terms, are an offensive-minded hockey team. They like to put up goals. They like to attack the puck. Defensively, that's not their cup of tea. And it was clear and obvious here. So this was going to be a game where the Flyers can be a little more creative on the attack, take those shots, take those risks on offense. And, they took their fair share of risks offensively here tonight, especially Travis Konechny. And TK was the one guy I expected to benefit in a game like this against the San Jose Sharks, who struggle defensively. But definitely that was the one thing that I wanted to see the Flyers do, and that is attack the Sharks defense. And I thought they did a pretty solid job, to say the least. Now, the lines here tonight, or on Thursday night, you had Morgan Frost centering James Van Riemsdyk and Owen Tippett in your top line. Your second line, you had Noah Cates centering Joel Farabee and Travis Konechny. Your third line, Scott Lawton centering Kevin Hayes and Wade Allison. Your fourth line, Patrick Brown centering Nicholas Deslauriers and Zach McEwen. With your defensive pairs of Ivan Provorov and Cam York. That's interesting. Your second pairing, Travis Sanheim with Tony D. And your third pairing of Nick Seeler with Rasmus Ristolainen. And then, of course, you had Samuel Errson in net as your netminder here for the Philadelphia Flyers. And in the first period of this game, you could clearly tell Flyers came to play. There was good hockey going on back and forth between both sides. It was pretty even. However, though, Sharks get their first goal. They draw first blood. This play looked like a power play type of goal, type of setup. Karlsson, just a great pass. It looked like he was taking a slap shot at the top of the blue line. And all you see, once he takes the slap shot, all you see is Mr. Thomas Hertl literally on an island, on Brigantine, right next to Samuel Errson. And a great job of Karlsson recognizing that. Fakes the shot, gets a shove pass to Hurdle, and Hurdle just, kind of just one times. It looked very Sidney Crosby-esque on this one. It was a smart play, great skill demonstrated, but just like that, the Flyers are down 1-0. But no need to keep your head down, and the Flyers definitely didn't either. As a minute later, Travis Konechny would get his goal as well, off a little bit of a deflection from Tony Day. He gets a little bit of a redirect, and that ties up the game 1-1. Big goal there. Travis Konechny, a couple minutes before that, had a great opportunity off of a quick turnover, balks it out in a line change, balks it into the zone, and he gets a one-on-one opportunity with Mr. Cochran. I always butcher all these teams that we play, especially like a team like the Sharks we never play against. But Cochran, yeah, guys, get your mind out the gutter. But he gets a nice opportunity against Cochran, and unfortunately he gets the block. And Travis Konechny's hard work would pay off as he got the goal later on. So a 1-1 game heading into the second period. Definitely should feel good about yourself if you're the Philadelphia Flyers. However, in the second period, I'll be quite honest with you, Sharks were the better team. They dominated in that period. The good news is that we only were able to allow one freaking goal. So that was big. Thomas Hurdle gets his second goal in the game. And he is literally the Flyers killer. I think I heard it on the broadcast. I think it was in 14 games, he has 11 points, something like that. He hasn't played the Flyers a lot, but Scott Harnell's talking about it in intermission. There are times where you're going up against a team that you just kind of own, and you just come out and you play a little bit different. You in this case, you skate with a little more confidence. You got a little pep in your skate. The shots just flowing better off the stick. I kind of compare it to with our basketball team in here in Philadelphia. Every time Joel Embiid goes up against Chicago Bulls, he has a little bit of an edge. Now, obviously, Joel Embiid is an extremely confident man, and it doesn't take much for him to show that confidence. But every time he plays the Bulls, he has the Bulls' number, so he knows it's time to eat tonight. And Hurdle kind of feels the same way when he's going up against the Philadelphia Flyers. It's a 2-1 game going into the third period. It's still a hockey game here. And we've seen this Flyers team fight through. The third period has been the Flyers period thus far this season. So, in this one, however, Kevin LeBlanc would add on to a goal in the beginning of the third period. That would make it 3-1. This was in the opening minute of the third period. But that probably was what worked for the Flyers, because now you had essentially an entire period to get 2 goals. We've seen this Flyers team do this before. Not a team that scores a lot of pucks. We know this. But they have done this before where they've come back 2 down. 4 minutes later, you have Owen Tippett coming down the center of the ice, and JVR wraps around the net, finds Owen Tippett coming down, and Owen just rips this one right on top of Kokkonen, and it was a 3-2 game right there. Great job by Owen Tippett getting himself in a good situation and just ripping that bad boy. Tough. It was just 10, 12 minutes of hockey in the third period where it could have gone either way here. But the Flyers definitely had the confidence, and the confidence kept building and brewing. And then with literally less than 3 minutes left into the third period, Travis Konechny from the goddamn blue line rips a puck. At first, it looked like Lutz had a little bit of a tip in, but it definitely looked like it went off of a defender instead. And the Philadelphia Flyers would get themselves the third goal that would tie the hockey game up. And I do apologize. That first goal that I described, that was the second goal. The first goal was just Thomas Hurdle. It was Carlson finding Thomas Hurdle in open space in front of nets, and Rasmus Stalainen just dives in the ice. Dives onto the ice, and Hurdle just with a great shot past Sam Errson. Just kind of, it was an opposite. It was like an opposite. He shot from the left, went to the right, low shot. That was the first goal. But now you're heading into overtime, right? It's 3-on-3 hockey, and this is where you get concerned if you're a Flyers fan, because we've seen the Flyers struggle in overtime. And yeah, a lot of it has to do with the fact that you haven't had that guy who takes the reins in overtime. You see all the time in situations, especially 3-on-3 hockey, star players, individuals do shine in these situations. Now, in this one, I was questioning a little bit because to start off OT, you get Travis Konechny, Tony DeAngelo, and Travis Sanheim. And I'm thinking to myself, why are we putting two defenders out there in OT? Like, why wouldn't you put another forward out there, right? Like, why wouldn't you put Tip? Or why wouldn't you? I mean, I know Kevin Hayes is not going to go out there. That's for sure. But, Morgan Frost, another forward out there. But he trusted Tony D and he trusted Travis Sanheim. They had a really good shot. They had a 2-on-1 opportunity that Kokkonen would be able to block. Flyers got possession again. They would lose it, and then Carlson loses track of the puck, and they gain possession again of the puck. Flyers go back down. TK finds Provorov, and Provorov with Tony DeAngelo on a 2-on-1 situation. Sharks definitely lost all the steam by overtime, and Provi was able to get it to Tony DeAngelo, and Tony was able to put this bad boy in behind the net. Gives himself a little bit of a celebration, gives a little bit to the San Jose Shark fans, and just like that, the Flyers, the Philadelphia Flyers in December in San Jose, come back 3-1 and get the 3-2 victory, the 4-3 victory in overtime with a Tony D overtime goal. That's a great win, guys. That is absolutely a fantastic win. And some of the players that shine here tonight makes it an even better win. I have to start off, to me, with Travis Konechny. A lot of good players here, but to me, TK, this is one of those games where we talked about at the top of this. We know the style of San Jose. We know the weakness of San Jose. Defense is something they have struggled with. There was going to be opportunities on offense for the Flyers to take advantage of, especially a guy like Travis Konechny. And he did. He was fantastic here today. 5 shots on goal in 21 minutes, almost 22 minutes of play, and he had 2 goals. It was fantastic. He continues on this great run. 17 goals. He already has more goals than last season. He's 7 away from tying his career high, which was, we talked about it before, that 3-year stretch from 2017 all the way to 2020. He is on right now, ladies and gentlemen. And I think I talked about this before as well. The way I see Travis Konechny conduct himself on the ice, he looks like a captain. Like, I don't even need to see it on his sweater, but it looks like there's a C on his sweater. And it's by his play. It's by bringing the teammates up and just being the voice that people are looking at. And he's bringing everyone's play up as well. And, of course, the stats for himself speak for themselves. He's playing great. He's putting goals. He's being a menace as always. He's lifting up his teammates. He's on John Tortorella's good side. He is the captain. I'm saying it right now. Travis Konechny is the captain of the Philadelphia Flyers. He's at least the next one. And it's so important because, listen, Travis Konechny, I'll tell you right now, I don't think he's older than 25 years old. While this is slow dial-up, loading up here. Look, we know we need to develop and rebuild, or Chuck Fletcher's listening, retool, whatever that is. But, it is really beneficial to have yourself a young guy like Travis Konechny leading the next wave of the Philadelphia Flyers. He's a young guy. He's obviously gaining confidence. And listen, this could be a blimp in the race. This could be, just a one-hit wonder, or just for right now. But for the most part, Travis Konechny is exactly what this hockey team needs. And he's playing absolutely lights out here right now. And to me, he is the star. He's the first star of the night because of the way he played. Travis Konechny is 25 years old. That is the prime age for us to have as our next captain. So kudos to Travis Konechny. Great job. Sam Errson as well deserves some kudos. Good job by the Flyers defense. First off, the Sharks only had 28 shots on goal. You know, how many times we talked about, you can't have Carter Hart or Errson in this case, or Sandstrom, who was the backup goalie here tonight. You can't have those guys seeing 40 shots on goal. Carter Hart's putting up 46 saves a game, and like we're all clapping and we're all in awe, but that's just not conducive for winning. And the Flyers defense, obviously needs to pick it up. But I will say, I do feel like these defensive pairings actually work better. Like we talked about, you had Provy with York, you had Sanheim with D'Angelo, Sealer with Ristolaine, and I still would rather see Zamula here with the Flyers over Sealer, but we'll be patient with that, I guess. But regardless, I thought, especially like the top two pairings, Provy, Cam York, Sanheim, D'Angelo, I thought they played really, really well. You heard this week in the press conferences, John Tortorella talk about having Cam York develop into a rover, comparing him to Dan Boyle. Is that the right move or not? Honestly, I'm okay with it. Because you know what I would rather have? I would rather have my young player have a solidified role that he can focus on and not have to worry about becoming 5 different types of defensemen. Stick to a style, stick to a form of play, and watch how his development will be much quicker. Cam York's playing really well, and I thought he had a solid game here again tonight against the San Jose Sharks. But to me, having them have a solidified role is more important. And, he called out Provy. Provy needs to be better defensively. If your number one priority is defense, and obviously we all know you can move with the puck and you can score a goal, but that comes later on. And so that is, to me, the best case. That's the best way to handle all this if you're John Tortorella and you're the Philadelphia Flyers. So great job overall by Sam Errson, though. That save in the third period to Couture, where Errson just absolutely snags that puck with his glove. That was honestly one of his momentum shifts because the Sharks had some good opportunities. And at that point, right after, that was like the last best opportunity in the third period for the San Jose Sharks. So kudos to Sam Errson for making a big, big, big time play there. But I do want to talk about the Carter Hart situation. Look, it's just weird. It's straight up weird, and it makes no sense. So Carter Hart put on concussion protocol after the Hurricanes game. He's with the team. He's in California with the team right now. They really traveled with 3 goaltenders. He's practicing with the Flyers as well. So, look, I know concussion protocols are different in every league. I also do know that they also could be improved upon as well. I even think the NFL's concussion protocol can always be improved upon as well. But the concussion protocol entails that you're allowed to still practice? Now, how does that make sense? Honestly, how does that make sense? Personally, that doesn't make sense to me. And, of course, Tortorella can't answer these questions because he's not a doctor. And the doctors can't answer these questions because the Flyers organization will not allow them to go into a press conference. And so, honestly, typically, you don't have medical staffs go take press conference questions. Like, it's just not normal. But regardless, having some type of background of why, number one, you hear concussion, that's to me, alarms go off in my head. Player safety, number one, right? Taking care of Carter Hart's personal safety is number one. So when you hear him practicing and you hear him with in concussion protocol, he's taking shots. He's a goalie. Shots get fired. Yeah, shots may go on his chest, arm, legs, but they also can hit his head. So it just doesn't make sense. Now, granted, I did want to see some more Sam Errson because I did feel like the game got away from him on Friday. But how is he playing? Like, how is he playing? It just made no sense to me. And that's just kind of where I was at with it. And the other problem is that this is the Flyers. This is the same medical staff that mishandled the Ryan Ellis situation, mishandled the Sean Couturier situation, mishandled the Cam Atkinson situation. So, don't fault us Flyers fans for being a little bit nervous for what's going on with Carter Hart because we don't know. And you guys aren't the most clearest of organizations. So that's just kind of what it is. But despite all that, great resilience here tonight by the Flyers. I think that's more important here. These guys have been taking a beating this year. And sometimes beatings can shape you. right? Especially your character. But these guys have been believing, and that's the one thing. This is not the same Flyers team of the past 2 seasons. The Flyers team of last year, or the year prior, would have lost this game 5-2. Honestly, third period has become a kind of a friend of the Flyers, and depending upon the talent or what the deficit is, they seem to always find a way to come back and play their best hockey in the third period, and that is great. And again, I understand we all want to tank, but having Tortorella instill some winning mentality in some of these young players, that only helps our rebuild. I mean, you guys were complaining about the Sixers tank. Flyers are, I'm gonna be careful what I say. I'm gonna say John Tortorella is doing the right thing, not the Flyers organization. Though it's different here. It's definitely different here. Speaking on Tortorella, I thought his decisions in the third period were interesting. He kind of switched around the lines in the third period, and I thought that worked well. And so, good. I thought that was a good change up there for the Philadelphia Flyers. But it's a solid team of the Sharks, and they are obviously rebuilding as well. But the difference is that their organization actually made it known, right? You mean that you seen tonight that the Sharks Arena, was it called Amway? Was pretty empty. I mean, typically it always was a stadium or an arena that was always pretty well filled, and tonight they just did not do that, and I think that that's fine. I mean, if having an organization being transparent with you, I mean that's a beauty. That's something that we kind of want here in Philadelphia with our Flyers. So, but still, Thomas Hertl, a Flyers killer. I was intrigued by some of their defensemen. Timo Meyer and Harrington. I thought they were pretty solid. For Harrington had a little bit of deflection on a TK opportunity in the first period, the good one. So they have some nice talented players. They got Oscar Lindblom. Shouts our old friend Lindblom. Lindblom actually got a goal in Philly when they played against us in Philly. And he's a fourth line forward here. The one thing I didn't want here in Philly, I didn't understand having Oscar Lindblom playing on your fourth line. Well, the Sharks are playing Lindblom on their fourth line, so we'll see what happens. But next up here for the Flyers, another tough challenge as they got a good team. The Los Angeles Kings is up next, a 4:00 first puck drop in L.A. on New Year's Eve tomorrow. The Kings right now are neck and neck with the Golden Knights. Yesterday, the Kings were in first place of the Pacific. Today, the Knights are in first place of the Pacific, but the Kings have 48 points. So they're a really good team. 21 wins on the season, 12 losses, 6 overtime losses. And so it's going to be a daunting task for the LA Kings. I'm going to be intrigued to watch this team because it's a little bit different from when I was growing up, at least. Or what am I saying? That was like 10 years ago. The Dustin Browns, the Jonathan Quicks. I think that Drew Doughty's still there. No Jeff Carter, obviously. No Mike Richards anymore. So I don't even think McNabb's there anymore. So it should be an interesting LA Kings team that we're going to see. But I'm curious to see how the Flyers do answer to that one. But that's going to do it for today's Flyers game recap. The Flyers on a late one. Ended like around 1:15, I would say. So it was a late one. Flyers win in overtime against the Sharks 4-3, and we are off to Los Angeles to face off against the Kings. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe for more Philly sports, and until next time, I go by the name of Parcero Philly, and I'm telling you guys, let's go Flyers. Talk to you guys soon.